Good evening, everybody. Alex Starcraft here, bringing you guys my first ever Starcraft II commentary. Now, this first ever commentary of mine is going to be between LiquidHerO, the blue Protoss in the top right corner, and LiquidSheth, the red Zerg in the bottom left corner. Now, of course, the map is going to be Tal'Darim Altar, huge macro map. You see there's expansions all over the map, and because they're cross-positioned, you see this huge distance between the two of them, which of course is going to make for most likely a huge macro game. Now, this is going to be from the MOG Providence 2011 winners bracket, or open bracket winners. This is actually the last round of the winners. So the winner of this is actually going to be able to go onto the championship bracket to fight for a spot in the fight for the #1 spot in the tournament. Now we actually have a 7 pool coming down from Sheth here. Now it is about halfway done at this time. It doesn't look like Hero is going to be scouting it before it's done, but it is interesting that he's doing it on this map. Of course, this is a huge map. You think it might make more sense if he did it somewhere like Shattered Temple, where his overlord would have, of course, scouted it by this point. Because of course, even on like Shattered Temple or something like that, like there, close by air is like where the overlord is now. It's so much closer than on a map like this. So he's actually going to have to do a double extractor trick to be able to get those 6 Zerglings out. So he has 6 Zerglings on the way, cancels both extractors. But it's going to be very interesting because he actually doesn't know where Hero is yet. You see, he does have the one drone going up here, and I guess very soon he might be able to tell if there's something there. But you see, the Zerglings are already out, so Hero sees it. But he is, oops, I keep hitting the 1 button for some random reason. But anyway, it seems Hero is going to be going for the Forge Fast Expand. Now, he might not, I'm not sure, he might be able to wall off this in time, especially if he, yes, if he does gateways, he should be able to. The problem is, obviously, the cannon is very expensive, and these, but see, here's the thing, the Zerglings actually do not know where they're going. You see they're going to be checking the wrong expansion, which is going to buy him plenty of time to completely wall off. The 7 pool, I should say, excuse me, will not do that much. Now, it will get him a very early queen, and it will actually put Hero's expansion a little bit behind. So you see right now he is so far behind on workers, and that is not good. But he might be able to make something work for him. Now, you see, he does not have the wall off here, but I'm assuming he's prepared to throw down the wall as soon as he has to, if he has to. Otherwise, he's going to go ahead and grab that Nexus right there, so that's a great thing to do. Now, Sheth is using that first thing on the Inject Larva, and he's going to try and get an expansion down just to see if he can maybe catch up on drones. He needs those extra larva for the production. Actually, another interesting thing to note, though, is while he's only made 2 workers, he's actually catching up a fair amount because Hero has been cutting workers just to get up this expansion and get up this, get up the expansion, get up these pylons, these simulator, what he needs to block off. He's bringing these Zerglings back. We'll be able to take out this pylon in no time. So that'll be the expansion going up right away, and actually he's going to go be finding this probe, making sure there's no cannon shenanigans going on anywhere. We actually do have another probe hidden down here, prepared to throw down a proxy pylon, I would assume. Maybe somewhere like just right here. I mean, really anywhere. This map is so big, it's so hard for him to find them. And as long as it's out of sight of the Zone Naga Tower, which of course that is, it will be fine. Now, he might have some of these Zerglings run around and try and find it. In the meantime, Hero is finally going back to the pro production. You see, he's currently 20 to 17, so Sheth is actually not that far behind, but the problem being his expansion is behind the Protosses by about 40 seconds. Here finally getting his gas and whatnot, getting his cyber core, so I'm sure he'll be getting gateway, or warp gate I should say, as soon as possible. Now, see, Sheth does have this control here, but he does not have, he's not seen this probe down here, and I'm assuming that probe will be throwing down the proxy pylon. And now as it's transitioning to that big macro game I talked about earlier, of course, we just have both players just making workers, because they're so far apart, and because of that early pool, both of them are actually kind of behind, because of course, Sheth, or Hero was forced to throw down, Forge, the gateway, and the cannon earlier than he might have liked, and cut workers and everything to try and maybe save up for zealots and whatnot, and then throw down the Nexus, which is a bit slower than he would like. Obviously, normally he might like Forge, cannon, Nexus, something like that. Now he's just going to be pushing out with these 2 zealots. This is a pretty standard little thing to do, especially while transitioning into Stargate. Because you have these 2 Zealots, and you look, he only has 6 Zerglings. Now, 6 Zerglings cannot take out 2 Zealots without great micro from the Zerg's part, but I'm not even sure if that's possible. Unless he manages to isolate them, which of course Hero won't let that happen. Now he does have the Queen and the 4 Zerglings. This might be able to do it. But you see, Sheth already has no units, so we'll see what he can do with this. He's not going to try and focus the Queen. Looks like it's just a little harass. But see how quickly those Zerglings die off right there. And at the same time, he's getting the Void Ray in production. Now he's starting to produce his Zerglings. He should be able to take this without losing any drones. And yes, he does. He gets them in a bit of a choke, but he has a surround. So of course, that's not too much of a loss there. He was forced to produce a few Zerglings, a few more than he would have liked. So that's less workers, but he has caught up in the worker count now. And we have the Stargate transition from here. Now again, this is good because his Zealots are obviously cost no gas, and we've got the Void Rays here. But he's going to be revealing the Void Ray to Sheth all the way over here. Now, this is actually not that bad. I'd imagine we would see an Evo Chamber. Yep, there it is right away. Because Sheth doesn't actually have one right now. So we've got the Evolution Chamber is going to take about 35 seconds to build. And let's see, how long does a Spore Crawler take? About another 30. So if Sheth gets over here, which of course he will, more than with plenty of time to spare, he will have no defenses except these queens. Of course, Sheth, the very smart, very mannered player that he is, he's going in and throwing down his 2 queens, which 4 queens is plenty to protect from almost any kind of Stargate play, especially when it's what Sheth is doing, which is actually just 1 Void Ray, 1 Phoenix. Now, this is probably to maybe try and force an overreaction out of the Zerg, but it seems like Sheth not going to be having too much of that. He's not throwing down any spores or anything. He knows that with these queens, he will be very well protected. Now, these Phoenixes are just kind of doing a little scouting, making sure there's nothing going on there, and he's just producing Phoenix now. We do the Lair, we do the next gas, as well as a +1 melee attack on the way for Sheth. Now, of course, this means he'll probably be going for a good amount of Zerglings or maybe Banelings. Of course, he's using these Zerglings to break down the rocks because he will be needing that 3rd soon to keep up. Of course, as Zerg, you always want to be 1 expansion ahead. And I think these destructible rocks, I think if only had this 1 Zealot working on it this entire time. But of course, Zealots do pretty good amount of damage. And these rocks are finally broken down. So it looks like both players are going to be grabbing a 3rd now. He's actually scouting for the 3rd right about now. And he actually, if he maybe stays there for a second, he might be able to pick off the drone with these Phoenix coming in. So he cannot expand. Let's see, is he going to do it? No, he won't. But he is going to see the exact timing of that expansion. At the same time, Sheth is going to see that Hero's going for a fairly early 3rd one. We should have a Twilight Council coming on the way from Hero, or LiquidHerO. So of course this means that based off the fact that he has a lot of sentries, it would not surprise me to possibly see Dark Templar, just because you'd think normally if he was going to be going Blink Stalkers, he'd have, you know, some Stalkers. I don't think he has any Stalkers. No, he does not. So it would not be surprising to see Dark Templar. Again, he has a lot of gas. So let's see what he throws down. We'll see in a second. Actually might be Zealot, might do Zealot Archon, something like that. We'll see in just a second. I think maybe this Phoenix did a little harass. I don't really... no, it wasn't. If they did, it didn't do anything. Oh, but the Zealot's actually denying the 3rd. Now, that is a big deal. I'm not sure if he killed or cancelled it. And these Zerglings are going to come in and get this around. It looks like he probably killed it. Yes, definitely, because they haven't lost that many units. So, that's actually a huge deal, because Hero's going to have his Nexus on the way very soon, and the fact that Sheth does not have his 3rd on the way, and we are past 10 minutes into the game, especially when he's losing some drones like this. That is not a good situation. Now, he actually has 4 queens there. Now, some of them are for the main. He has to make sure he's injecting. And we do indeed have Charge coming on the way, along with the Templar Archives. So it looks like we will be seeing a Zealot Archon play. Now, here's the thing, is it looks like Sheth is going for possibly, I would hope, a Baneling drop. If he's going for Zerglings, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Because, of course, Zealots, High Templar, and Archon, Zerglings are not too good against that. You see, even here he's trying to poke in. 2 sentries and 4 Zealots will hold this against, plus the cannon, will hold against infinite Zerglings. Now, we do have a lot of Phoenix and a lot of Zealots, well, a few Zealots, pushing in here again, just trying to do a little harass, get a little work done. We have the Zerglings coming back very soon. And, okay, Sheth does have another queen there. He's not been missing injects. So it looks like, once again, Sheth is going to be safe from this. He does lose the 1 queen, but it's one of his 4 at his natural expansion. And so he does have his Zerglings here, and he's trying to, I think, poke and prod, do what he can. But again, he's not in a good situation with the number of bases he has. He has to get more. You see, he has Hydras on the way, he has Pathogen Glands and Grooved Spines, the Hydra and Infestor upgrades. He's on 2 bases. You see, he is so gas-starved that it's going to be really hard to keep up. These Zerglings poking in here, and they're actually going to get perfect timing relative to when the third is going up. Just stutter-stepping, quote-unquote, a little bit to get the surround on the Zealots. Looks like he will be not able to take out the Zealots because, of course, Hero, on however many gates he is, it looks like 5 or 6 gates, he's able to warp in, 6 Zealots at a time. That can kill a lot of Zerglings. And we actually do have the proxy pylon down here, I just noticed. Now, I don't think that's where he's probably been warping in the Zealots, of course he has, where, in order to harass him, and actually he did snipe the third even again. I'm not sure if he canceled it or not, it's hard to say. A lot going on in a fairly spread out area on this map. Of course, this is also my first ever cast. But the other important placement about that pylon is it lets him know if he's not grabbing a third here, is he grabbing one here, or is he grabbing both at a time for double expand, something like that. Now, it's lucky Sheth does, each player has a fair amount of map control. The Zealot is looking around to make sure there are no hidden bases around here, which to Hero's great delight, he will find out there are none. And that he is indeed ahead on bases. He has been ahead on bases the entire game over a Zerg player. And that is almost the best situation you can hope for, especially when they are going Zergling, Hydralisk, Infestor, and you are going Zealot with Mass High Templar. Something like he's actually getting Blink as well. Hero's just doing, whatever he wants. Now, we do have Sheth grabbing this expansion down here because he knows 10 drones on the way. He knows he is behind. He knows he needs to catch up. He is ahead on workers. And we actually do have the engagement going on over here, but the Zergling's just getting destroyed here. You see the Phoenix picking up the Infestors, so they can't actually do very much damage. And then the Zergling's just getting stormed and chopped to death by the Zealot Blades and the sheer power and energy of the High Templar. Up, and there we go. Sheth, not even attack on the main base, just losing his army. He just GG's with the little exclamation point. Such a nice player. But anyway, thank you guys for watching my first ever StarCraft II commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll be making more in the future. I love to do it. And thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time.